Here's a good friend of mine who is one of the top creators in the country right now. Have a look at one of his most popular videos. Notice how they're all similar? Well, why wouldn't they be? If one of the videos managed to get 1 billion views, why not play around with it and post it again? And again, and again, and then get another billion. So, the first lesson after posting over 2,000 videos on social media is really simple. Always remember to repost your best performing content and again. Just like we have reruns of your favorite TV shows and we listen to the same songs hundreds of times without ever getting bored, we can also enjoy the same video content on YouTube too. And who gives a shit if someone complains? They're not gonna buy from you anyway. Now let me show you a few videos and see if you can notice something quite interesting. Then, or here's another one. The second lesson here is quite clear. Copy your competition. If it works for them, why not recreate your own video and put just your own spin on it? I mean, this is literally what I am doing right now. This saves you the time from guessing what works and what doesn't, and it gives you a very good framework on how to make your own version of a particular idea that's clearly doing well. As the kids like to call it these days, work smarter, not harder, or just cheat, I guess. Okay, now have you ever wondered how Russell Brand always sounds so clever on his YouTube channel? Now I understand some of you may not like him, so then let me give you another example. How about Jon Stewart from Daily Show? Or even Jordan Peterson on his YouTube channel? All of the three people I just mentioned sound super smart, and the reason is the same for all three. It's because they're reading off a teleprompter and they are just really good at it. So if you're making videos right now, investing in one of these bad boys may be the best investment you'll ever make on your content. You just have to make sure that you practice and you don't start sounding like a complete robot with your script written by ChatGPT. And speaking of investments in your content and personal brand that will literally give you a 10x return on your investment, may not necessarily be into a new editor or a new studio or even a new thumbnail designer. Don't get me wrong, these people are important, but if your funds are very low at the very start and you're just a one-man show building your own personal brand, lesson number 4 is quite clear. Hiring a VA could be a very good idea for you. Just for $150 to $200 per month, you can have an assistant taking all of the videos that you make and post it on all platforms that you're not on right now. I mean, think about it. You put in all of this work, so you might as well distribute it to as many places as possible. I, for one, was focusing only on Instagram and YouTube for ages, but then when I hired a VA to post on TikTok and Snapchat, those same clips got me 900,000 followers on TikTok and 53,000 followers on Snapchat. Not bad for $150 per month. I don't know about you, but can I ask you a quick question? If you are under the age of 40, when was the last time you listened to the radio? Me personally, about 8 years ago now, and that's because every single time I'm at the gym or let's say in the car driving, I just put on a video on YouTube or a podcast instead and just listen to it passively, which leads to my next lesson that a lot of people just don't think about, and that is the fact that your audio quality is way more important than your video quality. So next time you want to upgrade your camera so you can go from 1080p to 4K, save yourself a few $1,000s on something that most people won't even notice and look at how to improve your audio instead. If you want to make as much money as possible from your content, please listen up to this next piece of advice. Because let me give you some harsh truth here. A lot of people on TikTok who get millions of views and have a ton of followers are making less money than you think. A lot of creators on YouTube who are doing entertainment videos, even with thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of subscribers, still can't even afford to do it full time. In other words, lesson number 6, views do not equal to money. You will make so much more by learning a skill and having a small channel teaching that skill to a niche audience instead. Back at the start of my YouTube journey in 2020 when I was making Amazon FBA tutorials, I made my very first $1,000 per month when my videos were averaging like 50 views per video and I had under 100 subscribers. If you have been creating content for a while, have you ever found yourself stressing out about not meeting your deadlines? You know, most of your audience might be watching on a Sunday or a Monday evening and therefore your video just has to be out by then. Hopefully this next lesson will help you out a little bit. And that is the fact that deadlines only matter to you, and their main purpose is just to keep you consistent at uploading content. If you happen to, let's say, miss a deadline or two because you needed a bit more time to make your video just a little bit better, don't stress about it, because 99% of your audience won't even notice that you didn't upload on the exact same hour that you do every single week. On YouTube, unlike TikTok, your videos can take days, if not weeks, to start picking up some real traction. Now, I understand that some of you may be interested in creating content, but you might actually be scared about what people are going to say and what they're going to think when they see you on social media. Or even worse, some of you are actually wondering about getting haters leaving mean comments on your posts. Here's lesson number 8 for you. The more haters you have, the better it is. See, when you are starting out to get comments that are not so, let's say, nice, well, that means 2 things. First, chances are your content is now being served to a much colder audience who don't know much about you, which is great. I mean, that means you're reaching new people out there. And 2, every single hateful comment is a form of engagement. And the more comments, positive or negative, that you're getting will just help the algorithm push your content to more people. So if I were you, the next time you get a hateful comment, lean into it and just respond and potentially even start a conversation. All that hater is really doing is just helping you without even realizing it. Lesson number 9 might be quite obvious and you might have heard of it before, but it has to be mentioned anyway. And that is to make sure to batch film your content. If you don't want to burn out, ideally you want to script one day, film the next day, and then edit the day after. However, there is one thing that you need to keep in mind, and that is not making my mistake in filming just way too far in advance. What I used to do is film everything for like the next month. And I'll be honest, I thought it was a good idea because now I don't have to worry about content for quite a while. But then I would watch a video, or let's say I would watch a podcast where I would learn something new, or something in the world of e-commerce would happen, and I couldn't really do anything about it because I had all of these videos to upload first. So if you are going to batch your content, which I think you should, don't do it for more than a week in advance. Now, this next lesson has been taught to me by creators like Sam Sulek, Hamza, and even Mike Thurston at times. And that is that editing matters a lot less than we think. We see creators like Iman Ghazi and Mr. Beast, and we think that in order to be successful on YouTube, we need to have like a whole production team working on our videos. But just take a look at a video from Sam Sulek. Do you think he's putting in a lot of effort into his production? Just focus on being authentic and the right people will find you. Lesson number 11, create the package first. Ed Lawrence from Creator Booth, a YouTuber who has been doing videos for over 7 years now, has once said that you are 80% less likely to have a good video if you create the thumbnail and the title at the very end. The packaging is super important, and especially in 2025 when YouTube is becoming more and more competitive than ever before, us creators are now basically competing more at getting the initial click on the video than the actual view. You can have the best video in the world, but if the thumbnail and the title sucks, nobody's gonna watch. I mean, think about it. No wonder Iman Ghazi now has 3 people full-time just doing his thumbnails. Now, a lot of you watching this video probably want to make money, and a lot of you may understand that the fastest way to do so is by actually teaching a skill or sharing your experience with your audience. However, what you don't know is what to actually talk about and who to teach. Well, the lesson here is actually quite simple. Just teach your younger self. Who else can you understand better than yourself just a few years ago? Just think about what transformation you have experienced or what skills have you learned over the last few years, and just teach that. This way you know exactly who you're talking to, what problem you're solving, and you really know how to connect with your target audience. Lesson number 13 is slightly connected to what I actually mentioned earlier about editing. And that's because we're in the age of ChatGPT and every content creator is pretty much copying each other. Your personality and character is what really matters. See, we like Sam Sulek because he is just down to earth and relatable. He's clearly not doing too much research about his competition and trying to be someone he is not. He clearly puts in very little effort into his content, and that is exactly what makes him unique. Sam is just trying to help young guys who want to lift weights at the gym, just speaking to his younger self. All right, with all of that being said, now let's cover the hack of all hacks. The one thing that makes us all stand out more than anything else, and something that us humans just can't help but enjoy and listen to. And that is stories. If you want people to stick around and watch your video until the very end, the best you can do is just tell a story. Over the years, our brains are just wired where we just need to know how the story ends. And for thousands of years, humans have been wired to, learn, connect, and share information through storytelling. Think about it. You are far more likely to remember a story than just a list of random facts. And why? Well, because stories create emotions, and emotions are what sticks in our head. All right, this next lesson here will hopefully debunk the horrible myth that I was told when I was starting out. And that was, hey, you just need to film 100 videos first and get comfortable in front of the camera. Don't bother about watching the statistics because, well, you don't know what you're doing yet anyway. And that just couldn't be further from the truth. I don't care if you're about to film your very first video. Always remember to look at the statistics. Once you have filmed your first 5 videos, again, look at the stats and see which one is doing the best. How else are you supposed to figure out about what works and what doesn't? It is only when you start analyzing the information that you're going to realize as to what you need to do and what you shouldn't be doing. It is literally like being dropped in a remote island where you need to find fresh drinking water, and in one scenario you're blindfolded and in the other one you're given a map. I mean, which situation would you rather be in? Okay, now let's move into my most painful lesson to teach, the one that unfortunately has cost me over $100,000 over the last 4 years at a minimum, and a lesson that is so powerful that pretty much every business owner does actually agree on and is sometimes, well, completely neglected, and that is to build an email list. Even if you have no audience and no idea what to sell just yet, start building your list. Even if you don't even have much of a following yet, start building a list. Even if you have never written an email before, start building your list. Because one day, when you have a service to give, a book to sell, or a product to launch, you wish you had an email list. Emails actually convert 5 times better than any other social media platform out there. If you have over 10,000 active email subscribers, you should never be broke again. Lesson number 17 is all about working smarter, not harder. Very simply, use ChatGPT and other AI tools as much as possible. If you need help creating a title, ask AI for some suggestions. Maybe you're struggling with a good analogy or a metaphor. ChatGPT will help you with that too. Or maybe you could use some proofreading on your script to make it a little bit better. Yep, AI can do that as well. Just make sure not to use it too much, as it can really just suck out all of the personality and character out of your content. Lesson number 18 is actually really useful and something that I actually still struggle to this day. It is something that is constantly being used by the likes of Mr. Beast and the Sidemen and a lot of other famous creators out there. And that is to try to collaborate as much as possible. It is literally, in my opinion, their cheat code and fast track to getting many more eyeballs on their content. Because you are essentially sharing audiences and giving each other a chance to pick up new subscribers and followers along the way. And to make it even more powerful, try and find people that are outside of your niche. That way you know for a fact that the audience is completely new who has never seen your content before. Lesson number 19 is very, very simple, and that is, you just don't need fancy equipment. I see so many of my friends who actually have so much to say and so much to teach really hold themselves back because, I don't have the camera and lights. I need to save up for them first. For all of you giving that exact excuse, this video right here made me over $100,000. Just get started. I shot my videos from an iPhone for over 2 years, and guess what? Nobody complained. And now here's a little secret that will take a lot of the guesswork out of your content, which also happens to be my lesson number 20. A/B test everything. Your landing pages need to be tested. Your thumbnails need to be tested. And so do your titles. It's crazy to say, but one word in a YouTube title can be the difference between 1,000 views and 100,000 views on your video. And wouldn't it be a shame to put in all of that hard work just to miss out on 100 times more views just because of a wrong word in a title? Now, with all of that being said, social media is great, but without the right strategy, you will still struggle to get customers, which is why you need to watch this next video here, where I will give you the exact strategy to get your very first 10 customers for your next product.